That's what's going on. Nothing but success, nothing but getting bigger, nothing but getting better. My debut album is on the way. I have changed the title from Ain't No Lover Boy FR to, drum roll please, not just yet, but it definitely will within the next couple of days. Excuse me, that's a lot. Within the next couple of months, not the next couple of days. So something I want to talk to you about, Lions, is just my album is on the way. I'm making sure. I wrote my album. I wrote the album. Give me 1 second, Lions. I wrote the album, last month, in February, and here it is, March, beginning of March, and it's just like I'm not really feeling it anymore. I'm not feeling what I wrote, so I recently purchased some new beats and stuff like that, um, and I'm dropping some new beats, and so I would give y'all a track list, or something may have you, but something else could change. So I am kind of somewhat honing in more on the sound, on the sound I want for my album, or what I feel like my sound is. What's up, Jacoby? What's up, Jacoby? So I'm working on my album. The album is on the way. I think y'all are gonna like it. I know y'all are gonna like it. I love it. When I hear it, the beats are very, like, I can't describe it. I don't know. Every time I just try to describe something, I end up fumbling. But the beat is very '90s retro with a modern twist. It's my sound. You know what I mean? I'm bringing back, just a lot of my artistry the way I want to do it. So that is that, and I want to get into some other things too. So the album is on the way. Thank y'all so much to everybody who has bought my songs, who streamed my songs. I really appreciate that. I really love you guys for that. I want to talk about some other things. We are in the Ain't No Lover Boy FR era. And the name of my album was going to be Ain't No Lover Boy FR, but I changed the name to something else. It still has to do with love, but I'm just doing it a little differently. And I'm just realizing where I'm at when it comes to love, where I'm at when it comes to just my life and stuff like that. And I realize the people who are attracted to me now. We all have different sets of people who are attracted to us, and I realize the people that are attracted to me, even with me chasing, aligning with superstardom with me with my career, it's regular people, like people who work a average 9 to 5 job. The person who is like they're at their regular job and they're quiet, they stay to themselves. Those are the people that are usually attracted to me. You know what I mean? And I love that. I feel like I'm still going to be accepting Grammys, dealing with people who work a blue collar job, because my money is my money and yours is yours, and we're here for love. You know what I mean? So I just think that I'm just loving that. I love the fact that I can get jiggy with the Hollywood folks too. But I love the fact that I still can attract, and if I'm walking on the street, people is I can still, date somebody that lives a regular everyday life, because even the pressure now can be a lot, and I would, I ain't gonna say I would prefer, but I would like to have somebody that I can like build a friendship with. We grow into something more, and then on top of that, it's like they're my relief from the world, because whenever you're really passionate about something, it's going to be a lot of distractions around you in general and stuff like that. So and it's a lot of distractions around me with my just my family, friends. I just want to be grounded, with somebody, because I'm very grounded within myself, very centered, stable, reliable. um and I want the same thing back. I feel like, just where I'm at, I had to look at myself in the mirror. And it's like, when I looked in the mirror, I saw something that was deeper than my physical beauty. It's like I saw myself for real. And I was like, I'm that like I'm that guy for real. Like I'm that guy, like, and it's deeper than a physical thing. It's like when I looked in the mirror and I just thought about my traits, how I come, and just the physicality, and then the deeper inside, like I'm that guy. People, one of the most loyal, kind, nicest. It's like don't play with me though. What I'm saying? I'm just that guy. Like I'm the perfect boyfriend. Like I would just be the perfect boyfriend. And I'm not coming over on here to about love or anything. I'm just coming on here because that's the era that we're in. But it's just like I'm just learning so much about myself and about what I actually like. And believe it or not, these people that they work the blue collar jobs. I think I like them too. I think I like. What's up, Adam? I think I like the people who work a blue collar job too, because when you're not dealing with people who work the same craft as you don't have any intimidation things. Like, I don't want to date another artist. I don't even want to date another producer. I would never date a producer, especially, I mean, let me not say I would never, but I wouldn't date a producer that works on my music. Um, I would never date, like an executive, maybe. I don't know. I value the simple things in life, y'all. That's something I'm realizing. Like, despite my craft growing, despite things going up, I just value the simple things in life because I come from the country. I come from having nothing. So before I had this, I had nothing, or just like simple things. So that's still what I value. This is crazy to me. And honestly, it's like the album that I wrote before was about, just a lot of lottie dottie la, a lot of love stuff. But just where I'm at now, I want to write about the experiences that I'm going through now. You know what I mean? Like partying, me stepping back outside, meeting love while trying to, not trying, but while building my career. It's like my life is like a movie, y'all. My life is like a movie, and I can't wait till I get to the point of the movie, coming out or whatever. But my life is like a movie, and now we're in the part where things are starting to get good. Like, new love is coming in. My career is starting to elevate. It's like it's getting good after years of it being horrible. So we're getting to that part. In my movie, quote unquote. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I think the way I'm looking at myself is beautiful. I think the way I'm looking at others is even more beautiful. And I think the security I have within myself is great. Um, I'm like an onion. I'm multi-layered, multi-dimensional, and I feel like you meet so many people in life. And listen, the fact that I'm aspiring for such global, like global sensationalism, and I'm so humble and so real. It makes me love myself even more, because like you're never gonna find anybody that's just like y'all. I feel like life has forced me to be even if I wanted to have a facade, I couldn't. Like, even if I wanted to get up here and fake and just put on, I couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, it's not in me to do. um so, and you meet a lot of people who put on facades, and I feel like I have this light about me that no matter if I'm walking in a restaurant, or if I'm even going into an executive's office, they meet me and there's like something's different about him. Something is different about him. And people's, say it gets lonely at the top. I feel like a lot of the things that I'm experiencing now are preparing me for later on, y'all. So it does get very lonely, you know what I mean? And I'm only saying that because I pay attention to patterns. I pay attention to, just different little stuff like that. It gets very, very lonely, when you're focusing on your dreams, and it's like, I don't mind it because I love myself, or I'm just content. Like, I'm content with the era of life that I'm writing in. I'm content with my sound. I want to talk about just like, being young a little bit, partying, living life, talk about drugs, talk about reckless sex. That's just the stuff that I want to, just elope on right now. Just talk about different things that I'm actually going through that I feel like people are going to resonate with. Sensuality is very big to me. I love to make people feel something. Like, I don't care if it's a ballad. I want people to, be bobbing a little bit, and I feel like the beats that I'm working on and the sound, it's all just, it has this like atmospheric feel to it. Like I don't know. I just love it. I just love it. So that's that. So like, I don't know how many millennial lions I have in the den, but I love millennial music. So a millennial is somebody who was born before 1997. I think from 1982 to 1997. And if y'all know the music that first came out right when I was born in 2001, or the music that came out between 1991, just how people like Missy Elliott, stuff like those are my inspirations. So when I hear these beats and I hear this album, it's like, this is good shit. This is good. The beats are good. The lyrics are even better. And like, one thing I want y'all to really focus on when my album drops, and it'll be out within the next 4 months. I'm just gonna be honest. It'll be out within the next 4 months. So one thing I want y'all to focus on with my album though is my lyrics. Like, nobody has a writing game, and it's like, I guess because I write from such an authentic place. But when I talk about things like, I want y'all. eh, I just ask myself a question in my head. Like, am I writing? I guess I'm writing to be understood. You know what I mean? I want y'all to I want y'all to, with the people who really want to get into me, like my OG lions, the people who are really, rocking with me, I want y'all to feel how I think. I want y'all to, get into my head, my world, because I know I'm very private. But I want this album to be like a door that y'all can see into my life a little bit. I talk about things in this album like me being on the bottom and me rising to the top, and I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna win. I also talk about things, like You know, like, baby, where you going tonight? Stuff like that. You know, like, where you going tonight? And I feel like if I'm being real with y'all, this is a little secret between you and I. Just a little secret between you and I. For the longest of time, I could write music. I was even really good. I was really good, but like now I'm starting to write mainstream sounding hits. Like they're catchy, the verses and the bridges. It's like I'm just tapping in. You know what I mean? I'm tapping in. It's one thing if you can write a song, but can you write a catchy song that can translate into a hit? And I feel like, oh wow, I can. Like I'm doing it. So like I'm very proud of that. So like when y'all hear my next single, I'm like, let me be quiet. I don't even know if I'm gonna drop a next single. It may be a next single, it may just be straight the album, but you will know by May of what's coming out. So when you hear the next single, like it's just kind of it's mainstream. It's mainstream. I feel like after years of me trying to find my sound and find it, I am able to write a mainstream hit. Like I'm able to write a mainstream hit from the lyrics to the chorus, but also incorporating this whole millennial or this whole 90s aesthetic for real. Because when I grew up, even I was born in 2001, I grew up listening to a lot of old school music, not because I chose to, but because my mama, that's just what she had us listening to. And I mean old school, like Clean Up Woman, um, the White Horse, Don't Ride the White Horse, like that old school music. Even when it came to old school rap, like I'm balancing this whole 90s theme with a modern day twist, and it's me, it's Mason Jyree. So when y'all hear these beats, when y'all hear these lyrics like, baby, what you doing here? You look so damn good. I can take you back to my crib. Like when y'all hear it, I'm just letting y'all know I'm eating them up. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all folks, I'm eating them up. And I'm in my room, you know, already in my mansion, but I'm in my room and I'm in the mirror. And one thing I just want to be honest with y'all. Just I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm becoming more comfortable with my sexuality, and by that, I felt insecure being bisexual for a very long time. Like I felt very insecure. I wouldn't even still say I'm bisexual. I don't like the labels, but I felt very insecure. I was like, what woman would want me, if I like men? And something I'm realizing is like, fuck it, fuck them. It's a woman. I'm still gonna have kids. I'm still gonna live life. I'm still gonna do wonderful things. What woman wouldn't want me? Because so like I've been just like taking all these limits off of myself and just really embracing the essence of who I am. And I'm a force to be reckoned with. I'm like a force. I'm a creative force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? And I just know that my life is spiritually led. My life is spiritually aligned, and nothing that's not meant for me will come into my life. When it comes to me and just reaching my goal, aligning with superstardom, it's gonna happen regardless. Whether the next person drops off, whether they join, whether 10, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be who I know I am. So I just feel like that is just the beauty of just where I'm at right now. The checks are rolling in, the publishing checks are rolling in. And listen, I don't think it's very important. I gotta give y'all a shout out. Because listen, I've been doing this for 5 years and the publishing checks just now started to roll in. So I gotta give y'all a shout out to my people in the Lions Den, to the people outside, even the haters who be hating on us in the den, who be streaming my music too. Like I love y'all because at the end of the day, thank y'all. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm too cocky. The people who really know me, I'm not being cocky. I'm really thanking y'all right now. I really thank y'all. I really appreciate it. So, that is that. Just me writing and just me becoming more comfortable with my sexuality, because I guess y'all, the questions that I'm asking myself are questions that a person would ask before they blow up or before they become more of a mainstream topic. You know what I mean? Because I'm asking myself, does this work? Does this stick? Do I like this sound? Would women be appealing to that? And I'm only asking it because I want to be appealing to everybody. To everybody. I want generational people to rock to my music. I want, if a woman is 65 and a kid is 3 years old, he might not understand the lyrics and she might not understand them, but they both feel the music. You know what I mean? I want it to be like just a incorporation, of just generational people just rocking to it, superstars. That's what superstars do, So that is pretty much, that's really just that. I'm very grateful, very happy. Like, and when I tell y'all this album is eating them up, we got some I'm loving the rap, because we got some I just wrote it last night. It's like I want to spit some other ish, handsome motherfucker shit, cocky fucker. I just like the way I'm just coming on this album is different. Like I'm just coming different. I'm coming me. If you really been rocking with me since 2020, and I know a lot of my YouTube lions probably don't remember me from back then, but to the OG Lions who remember my SoundCloud days, they know that this new sound that I'm coming with, this whole doo 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 doo, that's me. Like the whole lower register, bigger, that's my sound for real, for real. Before I transitioned into being a singer full time, I was out here rapping my ass off, But for me, I'm gonna be real with y'all, just to go off on a tangent. I stopped rapping because the rapping market got too oversaturated, and I like to be in my own lane. I feel like I like to be versatile. I like to, switch it up a little bit. So even when y'all hear my album, don't expect my second album to sound like my first album. Okay. Don't expect my third album to sound like my first album. Um, once I get this first album out, and in the next couple of months, the second one is gonna be different because I want to expand my palette. I'm not gonna be stuck in a box. I want to do different things. I want to build myself up. So I need y'all. I don't need y'all to do nothing. Y'all doing exactly what I need y'all to do. So we're doing great. Just make sure when the album come out, make sure y'all purchase it on iTunes and make sure you stream every song. Stream every song 30,000 times. Tell your baby cousin, sister, mama Tracy. We're doing it big in the Lions Den. Just to elaborate on what the Lions Den is, the Lions Den is a group of people who were overlooked, under supported, people that people said they wasn't gonna be nothing in life, but we overcame. That's what my quote unquote fan base is about. And y'all know I used to say I don't have a fan base. In all actuality, I have a supporter base with fans. I gotta get out of this mentality. Somebody told me that, last week. I gotta say the whole fan thing. I get it, but in all actuality, cool. It's a supporter base, but I have fans. But my supporter base, the Lions Den, is about people who are often overlooked, people that people said you're not going to be anything, and we overcame that. When y'all see the biopic of my life and where I come from and where I'm going to be, I just know tears are going to be like tears. Tears are going to be. It's just going to be an amazing thing because I'm not one of those people. Like I come from nothing. Like I literally come from a small town, and I had a big dream, and I'm going to make it. It's making me emotional now, but I'm going to make it because I'm making it. And I feel like everybody has this story of like rags to riches overnight. Y'all, I've breathed, sleep, and bled. I've really worked hard, and I'm elevating. So I know in the next 4 to 5 years when I'm collecting out, and one thing I want to say, my peak is not 4 to 5 years. I'm going to be eating them up in the 2030s, 2040s, 2050s, 2060s. 2070 might have my own talk show. I'm doing my career. I'm an entertainer. I will tell y'all a couple of weeks ago I'm a singer, but in all actuality, I was sitting down there thinking a couple of days ago, I said, you know what? I'm an entertainer. I'm not just a singer. I'm an entertainer. I'm here to perform and entertain people. And that alone gives me joy. If I can make somebody feel seen, feel heard, that is worth $1 million to me. Because before I even knew how money works, I always had my talent. I was always able to make people shine through that, whether I was singing, whether I was in a play, or whatever I was doing. So that's just that. I want y'all to know that y'all are rocking with somebody who is real, somebody who understands the struggle. And I'm gonna be, just give me a second for a second. It's certain things that have been popping up as far as just my career and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, like I just don't even want to talk about it. But I just want y'all to know that I'm real, I'm moral. And that's that. I'm real, I'm moral, and it's hard work. A lot of people from my past, specifically family members, they felt like me getting to where I've got is because of salacious activity. I could be salacious if I wanted to, but that's just not me. I value hard work. I value working hard, and I value what I'm building for myself. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. And the beauty of it all is that like my life as if like I got so many more years left on this earth. I have like 70 more years left on this earth. I have producers that I haven't met yet, awards that I haven't, accepted yet, mansions that I haven't moved into, red carpets that I haven't walked down. And I'm sitting over here pressed about the first 23 years of my life, about people that it's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, it's I guess you can say cliche or whatever, but that's why I drop bigger, because I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm elevating. My brand is getting bigger. I'm doing bigger things. So, that's why I did that. For me, I don't make music for like clout. I do it because it's literally like something like when I'm angry or when I'm upset, it gets it out of my body. I feel like if a lot of people tap back into that creative childlike energy that we all have within us, a lot of people wouldn't be in jail. A lot of people wouldn't be, just a lot of different stuff. This is what I just choose to do. I make music, I make albums to expel me, to get that up out of my body. I was on another platform earlier before I got on this one, and I said, when I'm saying certain stuff, like when I'm, on my songs, I'm like, you will never be me. Stuff like that. I'm not talking to the person listening. I'm talking to the haters. I'm talking to the people who said I wasn't going to be anything. And I would hope that when people listen to my music, they think the same way about their haters. Like, they'll never be me. I write from just experience. I write to uplift people. But ultimately, I'm uplifting myself. I'm speaking to myself and saying, hey, you are who you say you are. I know I'm going to be who who I'm inspiring to be. And you have a lot of people that talk, they have this facade, but like I am the real deal. I don't, I know how, but I'm the real deal. Um, and I just think it's just very, very, very important for me to keep doing what I'm doing, keep going how I'm going. Because before I had anything, I was making music on BandLab in a 2001 Honda Civic in a broke down, like town in South Carolina. So like, I've come a very far way, a very long way. I've been through certain things that a lot of artists who make it to the top don't publicize, but that was my strength, my vulnerability, being honest about my struggle. And I feel like I'm so strong because I never asked for anything, and I didn't want to, but my vulnerability throughout my struggle and just really showing people last year that everybody doesn't just is sought after or found. Some people we found ourselves. Some people we force our way into the industry till they have no point but to acknowledge us. You know what I mean? I always felt like, why don't I have a bigger circle of people around me? Why don't I have this? But it's like, it's not meant for that. The people that are in my life, the people that are rocking with me, they're solid. They're good people. You know what I mean? They're not going to switch up on me. I'd rather have quality than quantity. So, my team isn't just the biggest of teams, but we execute things very much properly. As far as my supporter base, we're doing big things. We're growing and growing and growing. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but it's so many artists, who have recently just popped up, and they've been around for years. Like Anderson Pop. I didn't even know he was about to be 40. Not saying that's going to be me, but it's like he's about to be, and he looks so young. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. I just know I'm going to keep reinventing myself, keep doing what I'm doing. It's bound for me to get through the industry's door. It's bound. I'm not even stressing about that anymore. I'm not stressing about the royalties and stuff coming in, because they're coming in. Everything is, I'm aligned. I'm aligned. And this is something that I won't say my enemies, but they didn't want me to get here. They didn't want me to get to this point. A lot of people want to downplay the work that I've done, and make it seem like it's not enough. And a lot of things that people say, oh, he probably did this. That's what they would have done. Some people, they probably would have sucked a little. They probably would have got on their knees a little. That's what they would have done. And sometimes people try to put that on you, like, well, you've done. No, it's been hard. It's been some hard work. It's been a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. If I chose to do that, that would be the case. But nah, I value the hard work, because when I get to the top, I don't want the blogs to be saying no bullshit. They're gonna be saying he came from nothing. He really built himself up. Wow. And ultimately, I want to inspire everybody, no matter where you come from. Not ain't gonna say everybody, but people like me, people who were overlooked. If y'all would have asked some people in my middle school, was I gonna become that? They would have told you, hell no, he ain't nobody. He out of all people, him. Yeah, so like, I just hope I can inspire people, But ultimately, when I'm doing what I'm doing, it's to uplift myself. When I'm in these movies and when I'm doing certain stuff, because I'm not just a singer, I'm an actor, singer, songwriter, actor, author. So when I'm doing these movies and stuff like that, I just really want to I just do it to expel it out of my body. Like literally, and you don't know, if you don't know what expel means, it means to just get it up out of there. I'm creative to get it up out of my body. And where I come from, people probably felt like, why don't you just play football? Why don't you just go outside and cut some grass? Oh, I don't want to do that. Why do I gotta play football to expel this out of my body? Why do I have to do this to da 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 whatever? And it's like, when I did play football, I was good at it. When I played baseball, I was good at it. If I wanted to become a pro football player, y'all, I'm pretty sure that I could. If I wanted to be a pro lawner, I would be one of the best lawners. And whatever I was gonna do, I was gonna do it good. So that's just the point of the matter. I'm chasing, not even chasing, I'm aligning with superstardom. And it's different. When y'all see me on the Jennifer Hudson show, and y'all see me here, y'all see me there, y'all see all these different type of things, I want y'all to remember these moments right here. And remember that I might not have understood him, but he had a point. And I want you to go back to yourself and be like, you know what? I'm gonna make something out of my life too. You know what? I don't care about what the haters said. I don't care about what everybody else. I don't care. I'm gonna make something out of my life too. Not because, I seen him do it, so I want to do it, but because he just made me feel like it's possible. And that's ultimately what I'm doing, making people feel like it's possible. I'm never giving up on my dreams, and I've never will. And even though it's going on 6 years, and they say it takes about 10 years. Let me say it like this. So whatever you're working on, it's gonna take you about 10 years to get to where you want to go. Look at people like Kalani. Okay, so about year 6, 7, 8, you're gonna start to see. I'm on year 6, so 7. You get what I'm saying. So like, I'm just glad I just didn't give up. I'm glad I just kept going. I'm glad I'm keeping. And because the past 5 years, it felt like 15. But just to think about where, like I said earlier, the awards I haven't accepted and everything that I'm going to do, those 5 years are nothing. Those 10 years are nothing. We have to live our life as if we're going to be on this earth for 110 years. You got to plan your life in decades. You got to already know in 2045 where you want your life to be, even though that's 19 years away. You have to know that kind of stuff. You have to think in decades, not just a moment in time. And listen, I feel like what keeps people tied up in the moment in time is like social media or just, I block that out. I blocked it out. I don't even listen to other people's music right now because I'm working on my album. I mean, I listen to my people that I rock with, the legends and stuff like that. But I just don't, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I'm in my own lane. I'm focusing on my own stuff. I don't follow trends. I set them humbly, respectfully. That's just is what it is. So block out the outside noise, block out the outside people, focus on you, your dreams and your goals, lock in on what you want to do. You ain't got to do it big like me. You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be big for it to be acknowledged, and acknowledgement doesn't come from other people. It comes from yourself. It's not one way to be great, but it's one way to be you. And I think that's very, 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 very important. If the stuff that I'm saying now, somebody could have told me this at like 15, 16, 17, just at a younger age, my life would be even more, I feel like it'd be even more so better. But because I've had to teach my own self, I talk to myself, or I treat myself like my child a little bit. I nurture myself. I love on myself. So, just keep going towards your goals. Keep doing you. People are going to try to say you won't make it. If they were in your shoes, they wouldn't make it. Sometimes, not even sometimes, you as a person on this earth, you know what's best for you. You know what's best to do because you're you. You ever met somebody be like, it's like this little thing in the Black community. They say, well, it couldn't be me. It could, because it was never supposed to be you. That's why it couldn't be you. If you meet some people, well, I just block them out. Matter of fact, block them out and cut them off. I have 0 friends right now, y'all. 0 friends. My friendships growing up, I've always had, like I said earlier, quality over quantity. But the people that I did have, they were solid in my life. But even with that, as I started to elevate and stuff, I had to cut them off. Sometimes it may be the person you've been cool with since 5K or whatever it may have. You met them 3 years ago at a party. Sometimes you have to cut those people off if you're really serious about what you're doing. Because those same people, even if you have a small inclination that you need to cut them off, listen to your gut. Because in 5 years, that could cost you everything that you've worked so hard for. Cut them people off. Focus on your goals. Like I said, I don't care if you want to be a plumber. I don't care if you want to be a teacher. I don't give a fuck what you want to be. I'm just aligning with superstardom. I'm just a superstar. I don't care if you was a whatever you want to be. I don't care if you want to work at Burger King and be the top manager be the best at it. Be the best at it. And listen, never settle. Never settle. I'm not just gonna settle as an artist. I'm eating them up. I'm not just a singer. I'm an actor. I'm an author. I'm a producer. Once I eat them up that way, I'm gonna level up. I'm gonna help other people. I'm gonna go back to the hood and find raw talent like I was and support them and do different things like that. Be philanthropic to my community and stuff like that. Never settle. You don't gotta accept outside opinions and you don't gotta settle. Never do that. And I hope that when I'm accepting my couple, all of my Grammys and I get my EGOT, my Oscar, y'all remember the same words. I'm gonna be the same person. Never settle, because not settling is what's got me here. It's what's gonna get me there, and it's what's gonna get me even further. Because I don't settle, not because I'm just too good, because I know my worth. Sometimes when people say, "Oh, he think he's too good," no, they had already reduced you in their head to be below them, so they feel like you think you're too good. The whole time, you know who you are as a person. To translate that back to myself, people where I'm from, they might be like, "Oh, he dreaming too big. He's too." No, you ain't dreaming big enough. Y'all ain't dreaming big enough. And a lot of people that have a critique about your dreams are people who have not went anywhere with their life or done anything about your life. Something else I realize is that the people who have beef with me are 20, 30 years older than me, y'all. It's weird. It's like, I'm 24. Why do you have beef with somebody that's 20 years younger than you? I guess because I have a passion, I have a drive, and I dream big, even down to like close family members of mine. And we're just now getting back, on page. I felt like they were intimidated by me. They felt like by me chasing my dreams, and because I'm going towards, like bigger goals and stuff like that, they felt like, well, if he's doing this, my life ain't shit. Because I remember my Nana, she was like, you act like I haven't done anything my whole life. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but Nana, I mean, compared to what you've done, compared to what I'm going to do, you really haven't. You stayed safe. You played it comfortable. I don't play it safe. I don't play it comfortable. Life isn't the scarcity or the rigid part of life isn't going to keep me stuck in a box. It's not going to, for instance, and I'm going to just be light on this. You know how they say the I word? Oh, you shouldn't want to be a part of the industry because of the I word. You think I'm going to let that fear keep me What? You think I'm gonna let the rumors or whatever I make, whatever people say? I don't care about all that. They say you're supposed to leave the party 30 minutes early anyway. If you get my drift, you get my drift. However, fear is not gonna keep me bound. You know what I mean? Like I'm steady focusing on my goals. I'm steady doing what I need to do. I'm steady elevating. I'm in my own world, my own bubble. My own bubble. And it's like it's not just my own world, my own bubble. It's a protected bubble. It's a line, it's an aligned bubble. This I feel like the beauty that I have is the internal. It's like because it radiates, of course I'm handsome, but it's internal. It's an internal thing. It shines from within and it pours out. So that's just I'm just the epitome of, I ain't gonna say I need to be studied, but just doing what's best for you. Just doing what's best for you. Like just doing what's you. And it's like all my life, you got some people they want to be a rebel just to say they're a rebel. Thank you, Jacoby. You have some people that say they want to be a rebel just to be a rebel. I'm not a rebel because I want to be a rebel. I'm a rebel because I just won't be defined by a statistic, by a boxing or anything like that. It just don't sit well with me. And you want to know why? Because I don't look at people and put them in a box. People, I've came across so many people, people who are on drugs, and I still treat them with the same respect. I still talk to them like they're a person. I let them know, now, you got to get off that shit. You need to elevate. You need to do better for yourself, but I'm not too big or not too, I'm just me. I'm just me because the talent is going to speak for itself. The work ethic is going to speak for itself. What is my character like? What are my principles? What are my morals? And these are questions that I want to continue to ask myself throughout my career, to make sure that I'm still aligned. Not saying I won't get a little wild, not saying I won't get a little fresh or frisky, but I want to be aligned and I want to be, morally just and morally correct within myself. A lot of people, I feel like, and I watch these videos, these videos on YouTube. It's going to be a little bit longer of a live, but I watch these videos on my secondary YouTube channel. And it's like these old school videos of like artists from back in the day or whatever. And when it comes to the Black community, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I feel like the reason why a lot of specifically Black people in the South are scared of the industry is because our contracts and stuff back in the day, they weren't good contracts. Like they weren't good contracts. They weren't really meant for us to like succeed a little bit. We kind of were replaceable. So I feel like today it's kind of this whole thing where, oh, you shouldn't do that because they're going to just use you up and, or whatever may have you. People who get used are the people who don't have a solid foundation. The people who get used are the people who are not already collecting publishing royalty checks or just have a solid supporter base already. Those are not the people who get used. The people who get used are the people who are desperate, the people who want to rush their way to the top, the people who do salacious things, the people who don't mind getting on their knees for an award or anything. Those are the people who get used. A boss like me, I don't get used. I get reference, respect, and looked at, because it takes for you to really know how you're coming, to know who you are, to know what your principles are. And listen, I'm not saying it like this, like I've been approached. I ain't been approached. Ain't none of that happen. I'm just letting y'all know who about me, and if I was approached and I like the person, there would be no need for me to even come here because it just is what it is. But I don't stuff like that won't happen to me. Like I said, I'm protected. And most importantly, I have a solid foundation. And this is coming from, greats before me who have said, the people who get used are people who don't have a solid foundation. And before I even knew any of this knowledge, I knew I was building a solid foundation, but upon research, it's like, whoa, I am doing the right thing. Okay. I'm building my, I own my master's and I got my publishing and everything set up. I got a solid, supporter base that I'm building. Got my own record label that that's coming. Yes, I'm the first artist under. Y'all don't even know. Like I've been working. I can't say too much, but I got my own stuff going on and just stuff like that. A lot of the artists who it's after they've been 2 albums in, they owe their label money. Now they want to get their own label. Now they want to focus on their mastering. I'm focused on this now. So when that time comes, they need me. I don't need them. I've recently asked myself, if it came to a point, which I don't think I'm going to come to this point, but if it came to a point of me having to get through that door, would I be comfortable? And listen, I'm speaking in terminology, so you got to get with me, okay? If it came to a point of me getting through that door, and if I wasn't willing to do something if it's real, I don't even know if it's real. If I wasn't willing to do something to get through that door, would I be comfortable with what I built right now? And by that, I mean, would I be comfortable with, just I can't put it into words, but would I be comfortable with, being, a singer songwriter, being independent, still being able to go on tour, still being able, but I just fully do it myself, and the awards are a little less. Those are the questions that I'm asking myself right now, and I don't know why, because I haven't been presented with anything like that. But it's like I'm asking myself, if something did come up and I had to do that to break through that door, would I do it? And that's just where I've been at. So that's why I want to make sure that my identity is solid, like I know who I am, because I know I give off this type of, especially when people meet me, like this dreamer, innocent type of vibe. When then people really, they're like, whoa, oh yeah, that's not what I thought that was. That's not who I thought he was. He's nobody to play with. So I'm just asking myself these type of questions. And I feel like where I'm at right now is it's the type of question mainstream artists ask themselves. Am I willing to? What am I? Am I willing? If I was willing, what am I willing to? And I ask myself, I don't even think I'm gonna have to do any of that, because this mission that I'm on is it's like a spiritual mission. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say like I'm trying to save souls and nothing like that. Your faith is up to you, but it's like this is deeper than me. This is above me. You know what I mean? This isn't something that I control. I know what I'm doing right now, my voice, even the sound of, how I'm able to just my charisma. This is most high divine given. This was given to me. So if I know for a fact deep down within me this was given to me, would I have to do anything like that? Or is that the test within itself? You get what I'm saying? So if you get me, you get me, you get me, you get me. So that's just where I'm at right now. I'm gonna still keep. And for a second, it's like, whoa. Do I want to just be? Nah, I'm gonna still go for it. I'm gonna still go for it because like I just don't care. I'm not gonna let fear keep me from doing what I'm doing. And it's not a question I've ever asked myself before. What am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to do? Will I have to do anything? I've never asked myself those type of questions before, but now I am, I guess, because my soul knows that we're getting closer and closer. We're getting closer. So I gotta, be mentally prepared. I gotta just be mentally prepared, So that's another reason why that, I'm making sure that I build my team. But on hindsight, I'm not stressing it, because I know the people that come into my life. One thing about my life is stuff that's not meant for me, I'm protected from it. So like people who don't really mean me any good, like I don't come in contact with them, or I don't. And it's not that I don't try; it's just that that's the way it's worked out for me. So I know for a fact I'm not gonna have to, do anything crazy or anything like that. But it's just a part of the game, or a part of my questioning, that I feel like I need to ask myself. It makes me hone in more of like on who I'm going to become for real. In 2030, we're only 4 years away from that. So just 4 years ago, it was 2022. So put that in your head. In 2030, 2040, when I'm dropping my albums, it's like I'm gonna pop out and I'm gonna go back into my, to my world. I'm not gonna be average, like feeding into the whole everything is about the industry, everywhere I always, just because I don't need that. I got real people in real life that I'm not gonna say I don't need that, because I do need that. But I got real people in real life that support me. And, I don't have to stay in the blogs to be relevant. By that point, 2030, this is something I started. I'm going to be 29 years old. By that point, it'll be something I started 10 years ago at 19. I'm on solid ground. I don't have to stay up in the blogs. My destiny is going to keep me. It's going to keep me in the blogs. I don't have to, you have some artists I don't want to say that, but you have some artists who they do their work, they pop out, and they go back. And then when they pop out again, it's like, oh, so-and-so is working on their fourth album. Woo. It's like one of those type things. I know I'm communicating with y'all now, but I just know I politic, okay? I politic, okay? So I just think that's just very, 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 very important. Very, very important. So, Lions, I love you. Keep it hot, keep it spicy. It's your boy, Mason Jyree. If you're new to the Lions, then welcome, welcome, welcome. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting on? Don't forget to take your baby cousins to Mama Tracy. That we keeping it hot, we keeping it spicy in the Lions Den. Once again, it's your boy, Mason Jyree. I love you and abonne-toi.